All right. Hello, everybody. Turn this music off, though. I got the wrong thing on. Hello, everybody. It is me, Lady Hell, and I am so excited that each and every one of you have tuned in today for another episode of Life Pedagogy for Silliness. Um, it's me, Lady Hell. I'm a special education interventionist, and as promised today, we're going to talk about how to create a Blooket from scratch. Blooket is basically an assessment tool, and so during this assessment tool, you're able to whatever you're trying to get the students to remember, it is a great review tool. We like to, I know in our classroom setting, and I have the wrong branding up here. Let me take this off. Okay, there we go. Um, we like to use it as definitely as a review tool and everything, and the kids really enjoying it. However, sometimes we're gonna obviously go to the website and all that stuff, and I'm gonna show you how you can log in um, as well, and also create your own bulletin. They have like a free version, and then some of your school districts you can sign in with your email, and they might actually pay for a subscription. Some districts may have a subscription, and we'll be able to see them using it primarily, like again, as an assessment tool. And also remember, if you're watching here on Facebook, remember you can support this page as we're helping teachers. I talk about like life stuff, and again, pedagogy. Pedagogy basically means instructional things that we actually do in the classroom. So you can hit those stars button if you're on Facebook, if you're on you, if you're on YouTube. I'm not quite monetized on this particular channel yet, but if you like to support the channel, you can send cash up there. I'll put it in the description to TMT. It'll say TMT Print Shop, or if you're on PayPal or anything like that, and you like to support this channel, you can also at Lady Hale on PayPal. I think it's paypal.me. Yeah, there you go. All right, you're able to support me during that way. And again, if you want to support me, Cash App is TMT Print Shop, and on PayPal is PayPal at Lady Hale. So first, let's talk about life, and then we'll get into the pedagogy, the pedagogy part. All right. So with the update from Texas teachers, etc., I know many of you follow me from there. So whether you're catching the replay or you joining us live this this morning, so I did have my first observation, and it really went pretty decent. I must I must say it was pretty good. Basically, as you prepare for your observations from your field workers there, just remember to have your lesson plan in order. Okay, just have make sure you have your lesson plan. Also, if you have went to any type of professional development, be sure to add that as well, because that's another great thing that you're constantly developing your skill. Also, last week we did the ESL training, which I thought was going to be very hard, but it really wasn't. Now, it was an 8 hour training. And Miss Mary, she actually did the book, one of the ESL books here in the state of Texas, and her class was when I tell you, so phenomenal. It was definitely phenomenal, because when you think of ESL, it stands for English. Well, ELL is English Language Learner, right? So our first mind when we put ESL, we always think of like a bilingual teacher. So there's a difference between a bilingual teacher and then a teacher that teaches student English. Okay, and I would encourage all of you guys to go and get your ESL certification. Not only is going to be looking great when you go in to get a when you go in to get a job. But in the state of Texas, we service so many different English learners, and most people think that, oh, the highest population is the Spanish population, but you have different populations that are learning the material that are learning English. You have Vietnamese, you have Spanish learners, you have Arabic learners, you have Laos learners, you have learners who are learning the English language. And just like we teach reading skills, same way we teach English skills, the English learners also have to learn the pragmatics, the syntax, all those things that come with learning the English language that even we as native English learners find difficult. Imagine coming from another country, or all your life only been exposed to one language, and then now you're immersed into the primary language, which is English, and you have to learn syntax, you have to learn conversational English, then you have to learn academic English, as well as still maintaining your regular English. And there are laws and all types of things that have been in place to help and assist English learners, all right, or they might call them emergent learners. So it's all types of different words that they put out there. But basically, having your ESL supplemental, um, your ESL supplemental credential, that means you understand how to teach English learners, right? And it also helps you as well, because then you become the ESL teacher. It doesn't make you a bilingual teacher. Okay, so I don't confuse bilingual with ESL. That means like our English is like, if you speak Spanish, right? That's your first language. English would be your second, your second language. And it's just depending on what level you are and what level you are learning that at, or where you want to be. But however, I know Texas, we have a definitely high need for ESL certified teachers. Many of you are in districts like myself, where the majority of the population have ESL learners. Some of your school districts are dual language schools. Some of your school district are um, bilingual schools, etc., because of the different learners. So if you guys want to go out there and get your ESL supplemental, take a course. I promise you, it's going to enhance you as an educator as well, and you're going to learn some different things. Let me tell you one thing I did learn about. Let me tell you something. Tyler, Texas, which is not far from us here in Dallas, Texas, not far at all, about 2 hours away. Did you not know that if at one it was like I want to say in the 90s, they were charging people who didn't know English to like go to school and stuff, and that was illegal. They couldn't do that. They was like, look, if you didn't have no social security card, you didn't have any of those things, you weren't gonna be able to come in this school. You're gonna have to pay to come to school. And then the law came in and was like, nope, can't do that. Right. And they had to open it up where everybody, no matter if you know English, if you don't know English, whatever, you're entitled to a fair you're entitled to a fair education. And also to that's why a lot of people ask, well, how do people who do not have like citizenship, they're able to come to the schools, and they're able to get a a free education just like any other just like any other person, which is and I see the issue on both sides, because on one side it's like, well, education is reserved for citizens, but however, education should be free to all, regardless or if you're a citizen or not. And that's why um, the records are shut off a lot of times, in immigration and all that can't come to the school to see who has a social security card or who doesn't have a social security card, 'cause that's illegal, because you can't do that. So it doesn't matter if you have a social security card or you don't. Your child is entitled to a fair and free education here in the United States. So everybody is entitled, no matter how you get it. But however you get it, you get it. Right. So that's life update on that. Been working out. Hello, Mrs. She said. How are you? I hope all is well this morning. We are up this morning. We're gonna talk about some assessment tools, and the assessment tools that we are going to be talking about this morning is the assessment tool that is called Blooket. So I'm gonna begin to share my screen. As y'all know, we've been doing the book called Freak the Mighty. Freak the Mighty is, oh my God, y'all, that book. When I tell you, that book is phenomenal. That book is it was phenomenal, y'all. My heart. I'm gonna give you a spoiler alert, because at the end of the book, Max he died, and y'all, when he died, my whole class, y'all, we just fell out because we was like, no, not Max. But I forgot the name of the technical disorder that not Max, sorry, Kevin. um, I forgot the name of the technical disorder that Kevin had, but pretty much his body, his heart, I grew his body. And the part that was so powerful to me at that book, because oh, thank you. She said she loved my glasses. Thank you. I try to stay stylish with those. Um, but the part that was awesome to me in this book, because Freak had this hope, right? We found out at the end of the book that he knew that he was going to die. And he was telling Max, who had a learning disability, and in the book they called it LD. And so some of the terms in the book, my sixth graders didn't understand because we don't use those anymore. So if you said, like, our generation, we knew what LD meant. That means you had a learning disability. That means you were slow. You more than likely was majority of your time was probably spent in a resource room, because when we went to school, I graduated in 2003. For those who graduated before me, you either was you was life skills, right? And those were the kids that only came out maybe during an elective period or something like that, or you were resource, which means that in elementary you were taken out of class and you would go into a resource class during the content time, and then you would come back. So you probably go to resource for 15 minutes, 30 minutes, and then you would come back and join the regular education classroom. For like now in modern times, we have what we call co-teaching. That's what I do. I'm a co-teacher. So I'm an interventionist specialist. Obviously, I'm pre-K through 12th grade certified for special education. Hello, Lady Navarre. It's so good to see you this morning. Thank you so much for coming by and the supporting the channel. Like I was saying, guys, um, I do special education intervention strategies and different things like that. So you have a general education teacher who's in the classroom, and then you have a special education teacher that's in the classroom, and we do what we call a co-teach environment. So we co-teach the class, right? So I'm involved with the curriculum planning. I also am assigned to certain students who are on my caseload, right? So as an intervention, not only you do things inside the classroom, but you also have kids who are on your caseload. These are the special education children who are assigned to you, who are assigned to you. So I have my special education, and then there's also students who are 504 that I service as well. 504s, they don't have necessarily an individual IEP, but 504 students do have accommodations which they qualify for. And in those 504 meetings, the students are actually involved in those meetings. They're going to say the students also have the opportunity, because they're part of the committee, they also have the opportunity to say what accommodations work for them, what accommodations don't, um, um, what accommodations do not, you know what I'm saying, work for them as well. As for an IEP, you probably won't see the student inside an IEP meeting until about the eighth grade, and that's what we begin to call a um, a transition art. Mrs. She says I've worked direct support for adults with developmental disabilities and TBI. Oh, that is amazing. Yes, because um, even after school, there's still a demographic who still need that assistance, who still need that advocating for, and praise the Lord for that as well. Lady Navoa said, always, anytime, Lady Hale, you a teacher who teaches your platform. So yes, I'll help and support you. Thank you so much. That means so. When I tell you that means so much to me, that means so 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 much to me, because I think a lot of individuals, regardless of how you come into the education field, some people come into the education field with the certifications and all that. Some come in as paraprofessionals. Let me tell you something. The education field is so big, and there's such an opportunity to impact the next generation. Teaching this year has been so mind opening for me, because I'm looking at this and I'm like, I teach Generation Alpha and some of Gen Z as well, but I primarily teach Alpha. The Generation Alpha are the next generation, y'all. This generation that is coming up, we're the elders. We're literally the elders to this generation, and this generation is larger than the baby boomers. These children have so much economic economic impact and everything. They have so much things. They've had iPads and whatnot in their hands since they were born. I have two children. My youngest daughter and son, both of them are Generation Alpha, and then my oldest daughter and my oldest son, they're Generation Z. They're Generation Z, right? Because we have two groups of kids that, which is funny. But anyway, they're one of the largest generation, and what we say to them and what we do to them, we are we are impacting their lives. Not only are we impacting their life academically, we're impacting their lives socially. The mark that we leave on these children's lives, especially in the grade I teach sixth grade, is such a you're transitioning from fifth to sixth. So that's such a transitional stage. Most kids are between the ages of 11 and 12 that I teach, and it's such a transitional stage. Some of them are hitting puberty. Some of them are, they're just at different phases in their lives. And not only that, you get to work with you get to work with their parents, and sometimes you get to see what you even experience as a parent, other parents are experiencing as well, and you become helpers one to another. I've seen parents come in our meetings, and when they are in these our meetings, they begin to they break down, because some of them feel like it ain't no hope. It's like, what do I do? I can't get my kid off of a computer. I can't get them off of an iPad, or whatever that they are, and because addiction is real, right? um, Addiction to the devices are real. And as a parent, when you've experienced it with your own children, and when you experience it even with yourself, being addicted to social media, constantly checking, constantly want to do this, constantly want to do that, Imagine how that is for a 12, for 11, or a 12-year old, right? And as an adult, we could turn stuff off if we want to, but imagine taking it away from 11-year old. Let's read some of this comment. Lady Navoa says, "I work MCOE." I'm not for sure. Can you tell me, Lady Navoa, what MCOE is? She said, "I worked MCOE in high school, so I started early. Salute to you, Superwoman, Lady Hell, and Mrs. E." She said, "Same for you. I rock with I rock with that 100. Okay, here we go. I rock with that 100%, especially my women. Salute, salute. Yes, yes. Let me tell you something. At any time, look, it's anytime you're working with people with disabilities, and just because people have learning disabilities, sometimes in some disabilities we can't even see, we can't even see cognition disabilities, we can't see processing disabilities, and some children really deal with that. And also some parents don't understand, like, I know for myself, the first time I had to go into, not only do I do IEP meetings for my caseload, but I have IEP meetings for my own, for my own kids. And one of my child was actually graduated out because it was more developmental than anything else. Because me personally, like, all through school, I was a perfectly A student, gifted and talented classes, all that stuff, and you're like, "Oh, my kids," you know. But sometimes but I had an IEP too. I didn't realize it until I was in middle school. But I had a speech, what they call a speech impediment, and I would say words funny, and sometimes I still say words funny to this day. But I had an IEP for a speech impediment as well. So some disabilities you can see, some disabilities you can't see. And even being on this side of you, being on this the new side of YouTube, where I even notice it in adults, right? This is in adults. You're like, oh, they're not processing that right. They didn't hear what they're saying, because you get to see that on the slides and stuff. But however, let's go in there. I know we've talked about all that. So let's go over here in the Blooket there. So I'm gonna share my screen with you. See, screen one and screen two open there. All right, there we go. So I'm gonna share my screen with you. And remember I told you, let me let me know. I think you guys can see this. I just want to be sure you can. So I wasn't trying to put on there. So I think y'all can see my screen. Okay, yeah. Cool. I just wanted to make sure you guys could see the screen. So there's an assessment book, an assessment app that's called Blooket. Okay, so if you go to blooket.com and you go /play, of course, the kids are be able to put in a code. Like, you'll have a code that you give to them, and they're able to go inside of here. And once they are, my camera over. Once they are, or let me do this so I don't look like I'm looking off. So, but once they are inside of the game, they're able to play. So I'm gonna go to login. Okay. So I think I can log in with my school account. If not, I'll just do a regular. Okay. So here we go. You can either create games or you can go to discover. Okay. And there's already games that have been created for different things. Like, we just did this Halloween candy game, right? And you had to guess the type of candy. The kids loved it. But you have different things that, people do, and it'll show you how many people have played it. Like this one, over 2 million people have played this game. And the kids, like I said, the kids absolutely, they love it. But we're going to talk about creating our own. And at the end, if you guys want to play a little around, if you want to play a little around with me, we can do that. But I'm gonna show you how you go and you create. So let's say you have content specifically to what you're doing. Okay. So I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna go to where it says create. We're gonna hit that button right there. Okay. And so you can where it says cover image, you can, drag a file or whatever. Basically, I would go to Canva. com. This is how you get creative, 'cause I like to play in my stuff. Get creative. You just go to Canva, create a design. You can just do a you know, YouTube thumbnail for the thing. It doesn't matter. All right, and we'll just pick we'll just pick a background. We'll do a blackboard. I'll just put a blackboard or elements. I'm just gonna put chalkboard, and we're gonna get real creative. Okay, so we're gonna put this here, and then I'm just gonna do a title. Just do. Oh, I'm gonna say nouns and no, yeah, verbs. Okay. Um, and then we'll do this. Well, I need to make it like a different color or something, right? Mm, yellow. Always. Okay, yeah, that's pretty. Verbs. Okay. And then we're just gonna share. I'm just gonna download this. And as you see, we just went in Canva. If you want to make it more prettier and things like that, you can do that. So I'm gonna take this, drop it over there. So now we have the sound. Okay. So verbs. I'm gonna say the learn how to identify verbs. Okay. So it says you decide how you want to add your question. So you can decide if, let's say, if you have a Quizlet, which is really good, you can import your Quizlet and it'll import it and create the things for you if you have something like that on Quizlet. But today we're going to do it manually. Okay. So we're going to say manual and then we're going to say create. Okay. So now as we're going in there, we can put a question. Again, we can do a Quizlet import if you have it on a spreadsheet, if you have a question bank, or you can just add a question. We're gonna add a question. So the first so the first of them so the first question may be, you know, a verb is what? Okay. Is it an action? Is it a person, place, or thing? A verb is a what's something that's off? A soda water. So, um, a soda or a Snicker bar. Yeah, I don't know. You could just come up with whatever you want to. I'm Any other time I would do that, but I'm gonna make sure that I pick the right answer, which I let them know that it's the action. So then I'm gonna go in. Okay, let's say which one is the verb? Okay, Julie Crystal walked down the street with her family. Okay, so which one is the verb? Is it family? Is it walk? Is it uh is it crystal? Or is it, um I don't know. Is it walk down street? Okay. So which one is the verb? Oops. Let me add it there and walk with the verb. So then I can add a bunch of, different sentences with the verb. So let's say if the verb is okay, Kyle, Kyle's Kyle was running with his friends at the football track, right? So again, I'm gonna randomly make sure you spell it right, right? So I'm gonna randomly place where I want. Oh, I can do two answers. So if it's running or football track, okay? I can say set. Which one is the correct answer? Okay, and you just gotta make sure you put, the correct answer. Um, okay. Um, let's see. Y'all give me somebody give me a sentence. Give me a sentence. Can somebody Emil say, oh look at everybody. Hi, yeah. Oh my God. Hold on. Let me go. Let me go back to myself real quick. Hello, 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 everybody. Who we got in the building? We got Red Lipstick Vibes. Salute to you, sister. She is over there creating some. I'm gonna make sure I put you in my creative circle as well. Be sure to follow Red Lipstick Vibes over there. Good morning, good morning. We're talking about assessment tools and everything. Emil said this looks good. All right. We speaking there. Emil's Mrs. He said. Mr. He said, hello, hello, hello. We have Mrs. He, Mrs. He said, Mr. He said, hello, hello, hello. Hello, Emils. Oh my God, y'all. Thank y'all so much for coming over this morning. Give me some sentences. I'm trying to put like a couple of more and then I'll give you guys a code and we can go in there and 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 do it together. So I'm just putting like a couple of questions, like a couple of questions on here. So remember when you're in the Blooket, you can create different questions. And when I so at let's I'm just gonna do one more. I'm trying to think of a sentence. So Johnny, let's see, Pam walked to Martin, Martin and Gina's. Okay, what's the verb? Okay, is it walk or Martin? you know, and so I'm just gonna say save. All right. So obviously I can save. I'm gonna save this step. I shouldn't make this really public. So I'm gonna put a time limit on there. So on there they get if depending on the level of your children, again, I work with all types of kids. So sometimes I might put 50 seconds. Or if I'm trying to get them to really get it quick, you only get 10 seconds and it goes to the next thing. So it's just depending on the rigor that you want. But typically for something like this, it's 20 seconds, not 120 seconds, that's too long. 20 seconds should be more. I tell you more than enough time. More than enough time. But however, if it's a longer question, remember you can go and you can increase the time. So you can do that, right? So I'm just gonna say save set. So I can do this where I can host it or I can play it solo. So when you go to host and you're on this side, it's gonna ask you to select the game mode. And the kids, they love crypto hack. Okay. So basically when you host the game, and if y'all are on here, come log on with me. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna say it's time. We're just gonna do it for 3 minutes. Okay. So depending on how long you want to do the thing for, if you like me and behavior, let me tell y'all something. Let me tell y'all something. If you guys are like me and behavior, let me tell you. Oh, y'all can't even see my screen. I'm sorry. I'll put it back on my screen. There we go. Oh, let me go back to here. If y'all if behavior is an issue, okay, because I know a lot of us educational people, we deal with behaviors. We deal with kids that ADD, ADHD, they cannot sit still for too long a time. We have to constantly bail, making sure that their mind is occupied and they're sitting down and they're focused. Because if children are not sit down and focus, it's not gonna be a really great thing. So I'm gonna put it up on the screen there. Thank you. I'm sorry I didn't have it up. And as you see inside of the Blooket, oh y'all didn't see my other thing. When I came out and I saved it, and you sign in, you will have your game where I have the verbs, and it's only 4 questions. You can do it where it's just you playing around with it, or you can host it. So if I press host there, it's going to give me the option to select whichever type of game that you want to play, right? Because again, they're playing a game, they're remembering. So it's just depending on how how your kids, what your kids like to do, you'll find the one that works for you. But in sixth grade here, they love the crypto hack. And so I'm gonna say host the game. Now, once I press host the game, it was like the game ends after a set period of time has passed, or the game ends when you get a certain amount of crypto. So I'm gonna do it on time. And for just demonstration purpose, I'm just gonna put it on 3 minutes. So in this, I can either use random names. That's gonna depend on your student. Okay. I can show the instruction. I can allow you to join in late, or if you have to be on there when I'm on there, you have to be on there when I'm on there, or you miss it. And so, with some of my classes, depending on the behavior, if you have your Chromebooks and if you're not on task, you're not doing what you're supposed to do, guess what? You're going to be doing some paperwork because you missed the game. Okay. So I can allow you to join late or not. Okay. You can use random names. This helps because you don't want bend over on your screen. You don't want 304 or just different stupid stuff that kids could come up with. All right. So if they're mature, then you can let them choose their own name. All right. But if they're not mature, let them just randomly pick a name and that's the name they got. So they're not arguing. Nobody's like, oh, all that. Allow student accounts. Disable this option will hide creation account enable. Okay. All right. So we got all this. And then I say host now. So if you're online there, if you're online with us and you want to come play this Blooket game with us, oh, this noise is lame. I'm gonna say copy. I'm gonna put it in the description there, and I want y'all to come over here and come join us. Come join us on the Blooket. Okay. Here we go. Sir House came to join us this morning. We are talking about Blooket and just creating some things there. And I was showing people how to create a booklet from scratch. And as well, I'll show you guys as well how to join and how to just find one, especially like if you want to do some things with your children, you can sign into Blooket and look up something that they might be doing at class and things like that. And Mill said, "My great niece is 4 years old. She's really smart with a smartphone tablet. This would be great for her." Absolutely. And if your great niece she has autism, I'm sure she has an IEP that is in place. Go and look, ask her parents or say, hey, send me the page that has the goals on there, and look at the goals. And the goals are going to tell you exactly what she's focusing on in those goals. The goals are the areas in her present levels that she needs to be strengthened. That she needs to be strengthening, and look at a great source to really help with that. To really help with that as well. Okay, guys. So I put the not the code, not the code. Let me go back to this. Here we go. All right, go to play.blooket.com and you can I'm gonna put the link, the direct link in the chat there, and you can come over and join us if you would like to join us as well. Let me go here and put paste. Okay, there we go. It has the ID. It has the ID on there. So if you're on your phone, if you're on your computer, you can come. You can join us if you would like. If you would like to join us, but I'll go in solo mode right now, so you guys can kind of just really see how it works. Oh no! Oh, crypto hack. I have to use. You have to have people to play it, so and you're actually able to see it on the screen. But in solo mode, I'll just do Monster Brawl and I'll start, and it's just gonna basically ask you the question. So pretty much it'll say, which which one is a verb? Crystal walked down the street with her family, right? And so the kids are able to put, whichever one. And I should put walk, and I put walk. So just make sure, and it'll say, okay, it's correct. Let's go. And as you see, then it starts like doing these games. I don't like this. I didn't like this one, y'all, because we played this in class, and I really didn't get it. It was kind of weird because this is a new one, right? And it gives you the opportunity to play. Then it says, it puts your questions up there. And it's like Pam walked to Pam walked to Martin and Gina's house. Which one is a verb? Walk, right? And as you see, as we created, I'm just showing you guys, but on the crypto hack one, it's so much fun because when everybody plays and whatnot, it's this thing that come online and they're still in crypto from each other, and they're also still learning the task, learning the task at hand as well. Okay, so playing Blooket, there's other ones I can't think of off the top of my head, but Blooket is one that I found most effective because I'm able to go in and create and assess. Basically, I'm able to assess my students, and it's going to show me what they got right. It's going to show me what they got wrong. It's going to show me even while we're in class and we're asking, and the question is on the screen, and they're picking the one. It's going to show me what I'm able to visually see where the kids are struggling, and so then I'm instantly able to go in and create an intervention right then and there to help the kid understand exactly what is exactly what they need to learn. Because we go through what here in Texas, we have these things that are called teaks. Okay. And teaks are is these measurable measure it's lessons that we have to teach by the state of Texas. It's mandatory that we teach them. We don't teach the test, okay? We don't teach to the star. We don't teach that. What we do teach is what they call teaks, and teaks are basically what the state says the kids need to know. We teach the teaks, and teaching the teaks is a reflection of what's on the star. Okay, and sometimes, especially in English language arts, we might have 20 teaks to teach in 1 week, right? So it's 20 different things these kids need to learn, and not all of those 20 different things might be assessed on the STAR test. It might not be assessed on the STAR test, but if you properly teach the skill, the kid will remember. But sometimes, again, some of our babies have trouble remembering. They might not remember what a verb is, right? They might not, well, in a technical way, but if I say it's an action, it's something you do, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, it's an action. It's something or I can say it's something that you do, right? So it's depending on the level of rigor where the child is. You always have to bring the content to where they understand, but assessing that the child knows, right? Because we can teach all day long, but if we teach and if it ain't sticking, we have to have a way to measure why is this not sticking with this child, right? And then we find out if we know what's not sticking, we can come up with the solution or the intervention to help the child to help the child succeed. Okay, to help the child succeed, and that's what we want to do. We want it in the education field, in education setting, and whether you're homeschooling or whether you go to public school, private school, charter school, we still have to assess that our children are remembering what they are learning. And the way that you do it, it's a thing called an exit ticket. If you ever heard an exit ticket in school, an exit ticket is when the kid is leaving the class. It could be a question that you ask, and they have to write it down maybe on a sticky note or on a sheet of paper or in their journal, and they have to turn that in. And whatever let's say if you're doing integers, right? And so integers are either positive or negative numbers. And let's say if you're doing math, you have -1 plus +3, right? -1 plus +3 is going to be 2. So when they exit and you assess what they learn with the exit, what they call the exit ticket, all those papers should say 2, but some of them might say 4, some of them might say 5, some of them might say IDK, because kids like to write IDK when they just don't know or they're just being funny. So you always have to have a tool of measurement. And once you measure, because you can't assume that these kids know this stuff, and you cannot assume when children go home that parents are going to reinforce the skill, because sometimes parents don't know. I get it. Like I do language arts and reading. So when my kids come and they like, Mom, you remember how to do this in math? I'll be like, baby, where's your notes? Let me see your notes. And I'm an educator. So I totally get it. But assessment tools are there for educators. They're there for parents as well. And as you see, a lot of this stuff is free. I mean, if you want the more advanced stuff, you might have to pay for a small fee or month or something. But it allows you to assess your children. And assessment is a definitely a tool as a new teacher, as a parent that you want to have in your toolbox, because that's what you know what your kids ain't getting, and that's where you need to know where you need to focus your efforts, um, on your efforts in. All right. We have Inye. Let's see who we all have. We got Emil. And I want to again thank each and every one of you for tuning in this morning. Again, the site is called Blooket.com. Blooket.com. When you're playing in a group, it's so much fun. Of course, you can do it individually, but when you play in a group, it is, when I tell you, a whole lot of fun. The kids love it, and you're able to see exactly what they're getting or what they're not getting. And it also kind of changes up, because I know when we play Blooket, it can get loud, and when you're starting games, always give, of course, the expectation. So the expectation during this game is that we're going to stay on our desks. The expectation is that we're going to be on our own lab, our own Chromebook. We're not going to be on our friend's Chromebook. We're not going to cuss out somebody because they stole our crypto. We're not going to yell at somebody. We're going to use our inside voices. So always re-implementing the expectation. You're assessing. The children are having fun, and you're also integrate what they call integrating technology into the learning environment in a homogeneous um, in a heterogeneous, homogeneous way that allow the children to learn. All right. So again, thank you all so much for tuning in this morning as we talk about the assessment tools for teachers and parents. Again, if you have any questions about like IEP, lesson plans, 504, interventional strategies for home use and educational use. If you're catching a replay, put them down in the comments section, and I'll make sure that we will address those as well. And I'm gonna put this in as a bonus because I got an email, actually two, that was asking me about how to write a PLAF statement, and also how do you determine if a kid got 1,000,005 goals, how to make new goals to match their current present levels. So I'm gonna drop this nugget for you, but I'm gonna do a whole thing about developing a PLAF statements, which stands for levels of academic present performance levels of academic achievement. So it's where they are. The PLAF contains the weaknesses and the strengths of the student. And it should, here in the state of Texas, you should have two teak based strength and based two teak based weaknesses. And I'll show you guys how to use like maps or like a real summative assessment tool to really determine that. The STAR is kind of one of the best ways, but they have maps assessment. So you have the maps that you're going to do at the beginning of the year. You have the maps assessments that you're going to do mid-year, and then you have the maps that you're going to do at the end of the year. Okay. The one that you do at the beginning of the year is going to show you either the retention that the child had from the summer when we do it in the fall. When we do it in the winter, we should see a slight growth because now it's showing you what the children have retained during the first semester of what you think. So we're always assessing. It don't matter, was it formal, informal, you're going to always assess. But when you are writing those PLAF statements to teak-based strength, to teak-based weaknesses, or whatever, however your state does it, it needs to be two strengths, two weaknesses, and then you base the goals off the present level, not what they did in the fourth grade. Not if you're teaching sixth grade, them levels shouldn't be based on no second grade goals. Well, not on the second grade unless they haven't just not improved in rigor or anything like that. But it should be, your goals should be based off the present level. So you should be able to condense some of those goals, because as you move, like goals in elementary are real heavy. They lay them on really, really thick. But as you get into middle school, you got to think a year in advance, because those goals are going to follow that student for the whole year into their next art. Okay. So if the goal is going to follow the student, you need to make sure it's growth it's growth. And if it's kind of like, oh, it's a whole bunch and it's long, then you're going to have what they call objective. So you have the goal, you have the general goal, and then sometimes you have what they call objective. So those are little benchmarks you want to reach if you're doing that. I don't really put a lot of objectives because I make them broad. So some of the teachers have wiggle room, but some of your districts might require you to put all the little benchmarks and stuff. So it's just depending on that. But we'll have a whole show dedicated to class and writing goals. All right. I love you all. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you guys have any questions before I log off or anything like that, um, I have them there. Also, I'll open it up as well. Let me put the link down here. Okay, if you would like to come up and you have any questions about arts, about IEPs, about just general thing interventions or some interventions that um, you might need help in, I'll keep it open for like another minute or two. You can log in and I'll do my best to help you. And if it's something that honestly I don't know, I have tons of friends who are from behavioral specialists, diagnosticians, all of those. We do have an arsenal of people that told me, "Hey, Crystal, if you need anytime, if your audience need anything, they need help or whatever, just call us, and we can come on. We can provide those strategies for you, right? Because in you have an educational right in the United States, and not only that, there are you have access to so many services that sometimes some schools don't even tell you you actually have access to, right? And it's absolutely free because it's federally funded, right? And I want you guys to be able to take advantage of everything that is free and available to you. It's federally funded for you. These are professional things that if it's an educational need, some of you be wanting these accommodations and have no educational need, right? But if it has an educational need and the testing is available, the therapy, whatever type of therapy it is, behavior therapy, um, BCBA therapy for those of you who have children with autism. When the kids are in school, do you not know you have access to that for absolutely free in your schools and whatnot. They they can um they can actually provide those services to you for absolutely free. So I see there's some questions today. But again, if you're catching the replay and you're like, man, I did have some questions, you can also email me. I'm gonna put my email up there. So crystal@ladyhell.com as well. So you can always email me at crystal@ladyhell.com and I'll definitely answer all my emails as some of you have emailed me before as well. Or you can always hit me up I'm not really as active on Instagram, but I am active on Facebook. So if you follow me on Facebook, you can always hit me up there, hit me in the DM, and I'll definitely get back in contact with you. So I love you all. And remember to meet me over at the Creative Space at 11:30, and we're going to be talking about the app. So I will see you guys later.